Hello everybody, it's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So I'm going to talk about Gothmog on this video. And I know this is going to be controversial because some people will actually use him more than just Siege. And I'll show you why when we get into the video. So when we're going to sit here and pull up Gothmog, he is obviously an evil commander. With his skills, you have a bunch of variety with him. You have Overlord, and this deals 30% physical damage once to 2 allied formation units. Okay, that's kind of a little weird. You're dealing damage to yourself. And their next instance of damage dealt is up to 30%, and that's modified by command stat. Okay, so you're dealing damage to yourself so that you can deal more damage to your enemy. Okay. And then it gives some unit attack, unit defense. Second in command. And this one is debuff skill. Attack of small units in 2 allied formations, plus 15, and it's modified by command. It also has unit damage stat and unit hit points. Okay, so that's not a bad buff skill. Next, the crippled. And this is his main damage dealing skill. Against one enemy target, it deals up to 400% physical damage once. It makes it so your enemy, the healing effects received is minus 50% against that one target, if that one target is getting healed. And level 10, in addition, the target's defense is minus 12. Okay, that can help. So it's kind of a weird level 5 ability on the skill, because most of the healing you're going to get, like say from Gandalf the Grey, his healing goes to a random allied formation unit. Things like that. There's some that will heal, say, 3 allied formation units, like Radagast, for instance. Okay, something like that. Then you have a higher percentage of that level 5 part of the skill working. Then we're going to go to Mortal Lieutenant, which is his Respect 4 skill. For the first 3 rounds, damage dealt by orcs, Uruk-hai, and troll units in 4 allied formations, plus 15%, and that's modified by command stat. Okay, so starting out, you have 2 buff skills. You have the Mortal Lieutenant and the second in command, and those are for the small units on the second command. And this one is race specific. Now, if you click on the words orcs, Uruk-hai, and troll, it will tell you which units are usable with this skill. And then level 5, it extends effect duration to 4 rounds. And level 10, siege damage of the commander's formation plus 12%. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but it kind of does. So, when you're sieging, you want as much buff as you can get. And most people will use Siege Ladder on your siege armies. Well, this is the same thing. If you're using him as a siege commander, which I do, and that's his main use for me, is for his siege, I will have full Siege Ladder gear on him, which gives an extra 12%, I think. And then on top of it, he's getting another 12%. So as a siege commander, he is great. Some people will use him as a hybrid, where they max out the crippled, and then they use, these skills for the troop buffs. Okay, that's doable as well. And if you're doing that, like, you kind of want to mix some commander attack and some command, because the bottom R0 and the R4 skill modify off command, which, as a troop buff, I could see him working decently in the right scenarios. So I will only use him as siege. So with that being said, I just load him up with Siege Ladder gear. And when I'm using Siege Ladder gear, I generally used blues and the greens for my siege commanders. That way I can use the purple and gold to strengthen my other gold gear. If you wanted to use him as the damage dealer and do both of his do his crippled, okay, you would kind of have to do like a hybrid build. Let me see here. I'm gonna go with this, for instance. Okay, and I can only use 2 of the pieces. So you would want some commander attack and commander damage, but then you're also going to want some command. So like on the helmet, of course I don't have much because I just rebuilt a bunch. You would want something like this, the horseman's helm, to give some command. On here you'd want something, say, that gives defense. You would probably want something like the scale mail or the scout's mail. And because he's only got the 1 damage skill and you're running him as a hybrid, I would only put the weapon with commander damage and commander attack. And then I would run something like the firework because it gives unit attack and command. So, but again, the hybrid work doesn't really work so well. You won't get as much damage as needed. So if you're going to run him with the second in command and the Morgul lieutenant for unit buff. And with the unit buff, you're just loading him up on command and unit attack when possible. So here you'd run these for command. You want to try to get some unit attack in there, which really nothing I have has it. So I would do something like that, and then I would do the firework for the unit attack. With the helmet, I don't have the helmets, that's right. Yeah, so like I said, if you're going to run them with the troop buff, you want command, unit attack if possible, and that's why I put the firework in there for the extra unit attack. But the biggest thing is going to be the modifications by the command. Okay, and like I said, this skill has damage stat plus 5%, hit points plus 5%, which is going to be nice, and then you can put the rest of the points in the crippled. But generally speaking, I wouldn't use him anywhere except for siege. So I know some people like Gothmag and have leveled him up. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at his relic. I have never in my life looked at his relic. Cask of Command. Okay, I like the name. All the best helmets, Cask of the Summer's Dial, Cask of Pride. All of them have cask in them. So let's see. So he would get command to help his troop buffing skills. Little commander attack, unit attack. Now his relic. Siege tactics. Increases damage dealt by this formation's orc or troll units by 3% when battling on structure land. Okay, so this is another one of those relics that is a very specific scenario. Those aren't my things. So, do I think he's worth ascending to Mythic? No. Do I think he's worth upgrading and leveling up his respect? No. I think he is just best as a siege commander. And again, I would put all blue and green siege ladder gear on him. So those are the couple different things. Gives you a couple different options for him. And again, when I talk about things, I talk about what I think is best for the free-to-play, the low spenders, the newcomers, so they get an idea of what to look for and what to focus on. So as far as Gothmog, I believe you get them the respect 4 and then you never think about it again. You max out that level 4 skill so that you can have the bonus siege, which there's a couple other evil commanders that have that skill to give extra siege damage. And that will help you for the smaller players. If you can get those commanders loaded up in a formation, and they will help you with your contribution points when you're taking keeps. You'll do a lot more siege damage than everybody else. So that's all I got. As always, make the most out of what you got.